Hello and welcome to an author's commentary on The Beast's Reprise, which is a short story written by me. I don't know how much I'm going to dedicate to talking about this short story because the short story is pretty damn meta in itself. I like to think that you should be able to get everything you need to out of a short story by itself, but in case you didn't, in case you want to hear more about what went into it and why I wrote it, hi, let's spend a couple minutes together. The Beast's Reprise is a modern take. That's not the way you say that. It's a fresh take on a series of short stories which the reader probably does not have access to, which is a series of short stories which I wrote when I was a teenager in this kind of like mental world inside my own head where you had two main characters, the boy and the beast, and the boy was me and the beast was all of my negativity and suffering and self-loathing and, you know, all of the problematic stuff. I suffered with my mental health a lot as a teenager, and I found it quite therapeutic to write it out in various ways. Poetry was one way, this was another. And I would say I've written around 10 or so short stories in this series, at least, and it's all quite melodramatic, anime-inspired stuff. Where, you know, sometimes I would have like a sword forged from like positive words, or I would have a cloak woven from positive words, and the idea would be kind of, you know, light versus dark, good versus evil, and I wouldn't always triumph in the end. I do remember there were a couple where I was writing it, and in the middle of it I decided that I was going to lose that one because I was in a bad mood that day. And of course, over the years, as I matured and changed, I stopped writing these short stories, but I'm not going to sit here and make fun of them because they were a coping mechanism. And I've learned since not to make fun of my own coping mechanisms. That's something I did once, and it wasn't pretty for anyone. I wouldn't really share those short stories today. I wouldn't like be proud of them. But also, there was some fun creativity as well explored there. Like I was learning a little bit more about actually detailing fight scenes and the like. So I don't regret them, I guess is what I'm saying. But the other day, I remembered the Beast, and I remembered these short stories which I used to write. In fact, it wasn't that I just remembered them out of nowhere. I was creating an archive of all of my written works, and I realised just quite how many of those I had written. And I was reading some back, and I was like, oh, it's very obvious that I was in pain during a lot of these. And ever since then, the idea in my mind has been springing up of like, what if I went and revisited that concept as an adult, you know, where I am now? What if I tried to bring modern writing sensibilities into this very teenage, very emo kind of a landscape? Could I make that work? I have a few concerns, and I still have a few concerns about the Beast's Reprise. The first is that it's very self-indulgent. I don't know how much metafiction like this gets written, but I do think it's a little bit self-indulgent, but you know, it's fine. That's what this original thing always was. The Beast would say it's self-indulgent melodrama fit for a child. So there you go, I've shared some of what he said with you. And just in case you were wondering, I don't actually have like a voice in my head that I attribute to the Beast. I don't actually have anything like that going on. It's all just metaphorical. Although I did greatly enjoy voicing the Beast. I don't think I'm a voice actor by any means, and I don't think it even turned out good. But I liked doing the inflection of like the disdain dripping from his voice. I liked being able to voice that. Doesn't help that I have a stuffy nose today, by the way. But the other concern I had about this story is that it is very self-referential. So I do take the time to say, you know, it is written history that I have, like, I go deep into the meta commentary of, I have written many tales about this man, who used to be this boy and this beast having allegorical combat, you know, like having metaphorical battles. And I hope that came across in the story to people who do not know what the hell any of this is about. Another thing I wanted to continue from my days as a teenager, which I did without realising back then, but now I'm doing on purpose, is not actually naming the man. Like, the man is obviously me. This is obviously a meta-narrative about my own mental health. But if other people identify with this, because I mean, the phrase inner demons is a thing for a reason, right? I'm not the first person in the world to visualize my struggles. So if I keep my name out of it, then I give the reader the opportunity to put themselves into it. Although I did go with man because it is me. But yeah, I just thought, what if I took these two characters, which have always been at each other's throats, and sat them down and forced them to have a conversation? And what would that look like? And it very much represents my mental health in a place that I'm in now, where I've been learning as an adult not to fight these feelings and not to ignore them, but to examine them and figure out where they come from and why they're happening. And so that's something I tried to translate into this world. The Beast makes a joke about it being therapy hour, but that is practically what this is. So yeah, I don't have too much more to say about it. Hopefully it came across as more mature, but if it came across as kind of immature, then I guess that's just the genre. Hopefully it was entertaining for someone outside my own brain to read. I really have no way of telling if it is or not. This thing went through many edits to try and make it more outsider friendly, so hopefully that paid off. One last thing, I do worry that people will misunderstand me saying that I should listen to The Beast as me saying I should listen to me giving myself shit and all the insults I hurl at myself. Again, that's not what I'm doing. But I do worry that the short story may not have made that too clear. I'm more talking about figuring out where those feelings of self-loathing come from. Feelings I don't really have so much these days. So yeah, to summarize, me and the Beast, the man and the Beast, we're buds now. We hang out. You know, we drink some ice cold lemonades on hot summer days and we rib each other. It's fine. It's cool. It's a bromance. I don't know. Thanks for coming and listening or reading this thing. Next month it'll be something less self-indulgent. Okay, bye.